Hey, this is Ben Solomon, and welcome to this episode of the Techno Leadership Show. In this episode, I am going to be talking about how tech staff, especially frontline tech staff, get treated really badly, and what things you could potentially do to protect yourself and also get some support from your manager, from leaders in your organization. So, for close to 2 decades, I've been in the IT technology industry, coming from an engineering background, falling into networking and systems, and then growing through that, being the sole IT person in a few places, being part of teams, then becoming an IT manager, having worked in the MSP in between, then working in IT management, then going into IT executive leadership roles. And one of the things that I've seen is so frustrating from A to Z, from the whole spectrum of things, from entry-level work to executive roles, is how tech staff are treated like absolute rubbish. And it's not just frontline, there's other people also do get looked at differently. And I've also been blessed to work in organizations where I've been respected a lot, and every one of our staff has been respected a lot. But there are a significant number of institutions where you don't get the respect, you don't get the support that you need. And I see, like, as part of forums and Facebook groups and Reddit subs, I see this common thread of technology staff being abused, being harassed, and all that sort of thing happening. And it's not on. It's just not on. We are human beings just like everybody else, and we have a limit at which we break, and that break is not nice in most cases. Like, it could end up being a confrontation, or it can end up being something that affects us mentally and end up in burnout and that sort of situation. So it's something that we need to be aware of, but also people who are in our organizations, who are our managers, our leaders, and other people, need to be aware of the fact that this sort of behavior is happening from our clients, which is people that we serve, the users that we serve. A lot of people are not aware, especially managers and leaders who haven't been in IT services or technology services, aren't aware of how this happens on the front lines. And a lot of times when we are technology staff on the front line, whether it's in help desk, whether it's as level 1 engineers, level 2 engineers, all that sort of thing, we tend to, in some sense, put up with it. But also we look at it from the standpoint of, we want to just get the issue resolved and move on to the next thing. But what does happen is, it does tend to affect us. It may not seem like it at that point, but gradually affects us. It comes to a point where you have an explosion, and that could lead to your career being destroyed. Or it can go the other side, where you end up getting burnt out and not being able to handle normal life. And that's not good either, because there's people depending on you, friends, family, all that. And you've got a life to live. So you can't allow that to happen to you. Some of the things that have helped is having really good relationships with leaders in the business, managers in other areas, whatever it might be. So that when some situation like this occurs, you can go to them and say, look, this happened with this person, and it's a fairly consistent behavior. Can we put in some measures that protect me or us as a team from this sort of behavior? And the other thing that can be done is building relationships with people. When they know you well enough, it's hard for them to just hurl abuses at you in that manner. And if they do, you still have recourse to be able to go back to them and say, hey, the way you treated me when you came to get help is not really acceptable. I'm a human being just like you, and would you accept it if I treated you like that and if I spoke to you in that manner? And that usually makes people think. There's very few people that particular question doesn't make them think. And those few people are absolute narcissists that we don't really want to be dealing with. And if that is the case, I hope that you have a manager or a leader in your organization who can stand up and stamp that out pretty much. But if it's coming from leaders in your organization, it's not a whole lot you can do. There's probably means through which you can try and work it. Like, you could go to HR, go to other avenues, but at the end of the day, they're there to protect that company and not you. So when that happens, it's best to change the environment, i.e., find a place where you're valued, find a place where you're cared for as a human being. And you've got to do it for yourself. I mean, you can put up with things for a while, but it grates on you and eventually kills the passion that you have for the work that you do. And being in technology, being in customer service sort of roles, especially front facing, it's hard work. And if you don't have the passion, the desire to help people, solve problems for them, give them a great experience, then you're gonna burn yourself out and go, why am I even doing this? Have pretty much an identity crisis of sort. So if you are in these sort of situations, please find a way out. If you're a leader or a manager in this sort of organization, please protect your team. Please step out. Please listen to them. And please be there to shield them from this sort of behavior, because they don't deserve it. Neither do you. But being there and putting that shield and having that talk with people who behave like that is a very important role of a manager or a leader. Your team, your people are your responsibility, and you need to step in and manage that issue, that conflict. Without you, your team's going to flounder, your team's going to be taken advantage of and be abused and harassed. And especially if you've been through that, you understand what it's like. So always be there for them, support them, and take care of them. And if you're someone who is on the other end as a user, going to see engineering staff, technology staff, support staff, please treat them the way you want to be treated as a human being. We're humans exactly like you, and we care about your issues and want to ensure that you can get on with your job by solving your issues. But coming at us with anger, frustration, and abusing us is not the way to get that. And I've worked for organizations, including big multinational organizations, customer support, tech support. I worked for managed service providers. I worked in organizations as the one-person IT team. And I've also led small to medium technology teams as a manager and as an executive leader, as a director. And in every situation, I've stepped in. And yes, my characteristic is I don't let people step all over me. And in that sort of situation, especially when I was in my junior years, I would listen to them, let them vent, and not take it personally. But once the issue is solved, once the situation's been diffused, I've usually gone to them and spoken to them and said, look, the way you came and spoke to me is not acceptable. And I don't think you would accept it if I came to you and spoke the way you did. We'd have a much bigger discussion if that was the case, if I had spoken to you that way. So please step into my shoe and see it from that perspective. I am not the enemy here. Just because the technology that you use is not working well for you, I'm not the enemy. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you. And please do not treat me like that. So have the courage to stand for yourself. And if you've got a manager, leader who can step in, speak to them, keep a transparent, open communication with them, but also stand up for yourself, because you don't deserve to be treated like that. No, just no. So that's my rant of sorts, because we're not punching bags here. We're human beings just like everybody else. Yes, we may not be the super emotional types. We're more rational, more logical in how we deal with things, but we still have emotions. We still have a heart and brain and everything else that and there's only a limit to which we can take that sort of behavior as well. So hopefully you can appreciate some of that, and hopefully you will find resilience and find a way to have that open communication with the people at the other end to help them understand that you are getting affected by the way they deal with you. And if you're in a place where no one's supporting you, you don't have leaders, managers who support you and stand in the gap for you, well, it's time for you to look for another role in an organization that cares for you as a human being. So I wish you all the best in your career journey as a tech professional or tech manager, tech leader. And if you like this episode, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. And I'll continue to create content like this, as well as content that'll help you in your career growth. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know with a comment below so that I can reply to that, either with an answer or by doing a video that'll answer your questions. So I hope that helps you out. I wish you all the best in your career journey. This is Ben Solomon signing out. Have a great day. See you.